Hey guys, Moose here again with more Minecraft with Eric
Hello.
and Karen.
Hi.
We are separated by a great deal of distance at the moment. They are working on the town. I am mining, just as in last episode, and we are going to pick up the conversation we were having before right back up because it was a hell of a lot of fun. And I want to continue.
Oh yeah.
Regardless, I think it's great conversation for this kind of content anyway, but even if it wasn't, I don't give a shit. I want to talk about this. It's cool. So we were talking about video game music, and Eric had brought up that progressive rock and progressive metal are both good kind of like ins to go from something like video game music, if that's what you're primarily into, and transition that to real world music that you can talk to people about. Because I'd brought up that, I'm mainly, I don't know if I want to say mainly, but I guess the music that I like the most, at least at the moment, is from video games, ranging anywhere from Mega Man 2, Ace Combat, got Final Fantasy 11 and 14, and none of the other ones, which is going to piss a lot of people off.
No comment.
Yeah, I know. I can't get into the other ones. 11 and 14 I have like and we talked about this. I really need, or don't need, but it helps a lot to have experience to go along with a particular
I,
song.
yeah, I think like the reason you don't really like the previous FF music is because you don't really have any experience playing them or have any sort of attachment to them.
Yeah.
And like a lot of the music kind of which is like, for video game at least, have some story behind it that makes you like really into the music.
Some of them are good though. Like I'll go back what was the Karen, you know this better than I do. Like Western, help me out here. It's a Final Fantasy song that had an animation and lyrics to go along with it. And it's like Western something, and it was like one of the, like the one with
Which
Cecil.
Final Fantasy?
The one with Cecil. The
Oh, Final Fantasy 4.
brainwashing
Yeah,
Dark Knight
Final Fantasy
Dragoon
4.
something. Yeah,
Which
that one
one?
with the boss where it kind of goes through the story.
Are you talking about the main theme song, which
It
is
might be the
called...
boss's theme,
Oh, never mind.
and
Because I
it's
was gonna
but
say,
it
I'm
was
surprised that would be your pick, because like you're typically not into the
no.
romantic stuff.
No. It was like the boss's theme, and it was there's like a video I've watched on YouTube a plenty, but like the one where, like I said, lyrics and like animation, all that stuff. I don't know it, but I'll link it to you later.
I
Anyway, not
know
the
what you're talking about.
yeah, but like that I like. So there's some Final Fantasy stuff that's not the MMOs that I enjoy. It's just not most of it, and like not the stuff that gets played at like the Black Mages, their
Yeah,
concerts.
that's
Like
fair. Yeah.
most of that's a miss for me.
Okay, so then you, for that example, you wouldn't necessarily be a big fan of Dream Theater. I think,
Um,
not to say that
Not familiar
the
with it.
like Dream Theater is considered in many cases to be the like the pinnacle and also the 101 to progressive metal.
Uh,
So
I don't even know that much prog rock, but I really like Yes Roundabout is like
oh
my
yeah,
go-to. Fucking love that song. I had it on
yeah.
repeat at work for a long time.
And it's like, if that's the case, like, I mean, Styx, Boston, things
Love
like that.
Styx, absolutely love Styx. Not a lot of their stuff, but at least Renegade. I am very topical and boring in my musical taste. Like usually when I go off radio, it's not really doing it for me. But there's some exceptions to that. The off radio stuff that gets me more is like I mean it's hard, I can't really say this because Weezer kind of everything they do gets radio play. But
Right.
yeah, I don't know, I'd have to think about it. I can talk in much more depth about video game music though. Not that we need
Yeah.
to. Feel free to talk.
Well,
I've been
no.
talking a lot, so please. What
And
do you
that's
guys
kind of
think?
the comparison I was trying to lend to because I absolutely love the Final Fantasy soundtracks. And when I went to go, like when I heard about um, the Black Mages, I listened to them for years. not realizing that there was actually music that sounded a lot like that in the world. You know,
Well,
so
it's similar, like, okay, but not a lot like it, right?
well, the main thing for me that makes it is just like with and like with progressive rock, this usually rings true. Is you have these super like composition based pieces, not so much like riff and like. I mean, like I love Foo Fighters as much as the next guy, but they're very anthemic songs.
Yeah,
That wouldn't
I sorry.
no go for it.
I was just gonna say I grew up listening to Foo Fighters. I got real tired of that. It gets boring real quick.
Right, but I figured I'd just go for that as an example. But you still like, how do I? It doesn't lend itself well to video games too well unless you're doing like something that
Cutscene.
lends, yeah,
Cut,
exactly. But for like
Metal Gear
background,
Solid. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
and that's where like again things like Bastion really shine. Because the music is so, in many cases, just a cacophony. Like all these different instruments coming together to create like basic, like Western trip hop. You don't hear that very often.
In
So
Bastion?
yeah, no, like I'm saying, like Bastion brings that to the table, and that's something that like when you're friggin' running through the deserted like city, or when you're being attacked by the squirts or whatever in the second level of the game, and the music gets super intense, and you start being chased, and then in the end you take the core, and everyone gets pissed at you. Like it's it's super compelling, but then you have the really like like slow contemplative pieces. So you can take that and you can say, okay, so I like things like that. And while not many websites now, I don't think accommodate it. Some do, but you can look up like Darren, sounds like Darren Korb, and you'll get people that sound, somewhat that kind of probably
Dude,
grew up with that.
dude, Pandora has Skyrim music.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And
But I mean,
Amazon Prime Music has covers, which pisses me off because Karen and I were driving to go get groceries, and I usually like because we have stuff to talk about when we talk, but a lot of the time it's just kind of like, all right, just driving. So I had her like piloting the music basically. Just here, take my phone, fuck around on Amazon, find whatever, look through the recommended stuff. So she found like the Skyrim theme, and I was like, oh, that's so great, play it, yeah, I love that song. And then she played it, and I was like, this isn't right, something's off, just very slightly off. And then we got further in, and it's a cover, and I still get pissed off every time it comes on because I'm like, no, this isn't it. You're not giving me the real article. Fucking imitation bullshit.
right.
It's annoying.
Well, and yeah, I feel like when you're expecting something like the original, I don't get like I could talk about covers, but I don't want to tangent more than I already have.
No, that's on me.
But
I tangented hard there. Sorry about that.
no, but like it's true though. Covers can take someone like okay. So let's talk about both of these in context. There was a video game that had the music composed by a genius, a musical composer who does not get his due because every game he's made music for has pretty much been absolute hot garbage.
Real
So
time. I promise I'm not going to make this a tangent, but I just want to say this real quick because it's a thought I had in the last episode. I was going to say, and this is very much in line with what you're saying, music cannot make a good game, but it is the glue that holds together the best games.
Oh, for sure. I feel, yeah, I really can't add much to that. That's pretty much right on.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what you're talking about is because this guy didn't get his dues because his music can't make the game sell. It can't make the game amazing. So, for sure,
Yeah.
I get exactly where you're coming from with this guy.
I feel like his most popular game or most notable game is probably Rock and Roll Racing, which is the game, unfortunately, that I'm about to pick on. It's a kick-ass Super Nintendo game where he basically transliterated like some Black Sabbath and other pretty rockin' modern pieces to be kind of chip tuned down for SNES, and you're just like, it's an isometric racer, rock and roll racing. Definitely
That
go check it out.
that's like a thing people do now. You can just go on YouTube. A streamer that I watch occasionally, Rockley Smile, recently. On his streams, he's just doing this kind of like user interactive thing, and in the background, he's got basically just 8-bit or 16 whatever bit music just pulled straight from YouTube of popular songs. That's just straight up. So that's like, you're right. I mean, that's something that even today we do.
And but while as awesome as that is, and it worked for that game, that doesn't necessarily mean that a song is wrote for video games, right?
Yeah.
So like, okay, it's so hard not to pull from Nobuo Uematsu, but you only play the MMOs.
Well, I know, I get it.
Right.
I'm not a complete plebeian scum, whatever you
Pleb.
want to call me, pleb, yeah.
But I mean, have you played, or have you listened to any of the music from like Chrono Trigger or
Yeah.
any of the other, like,
Chrono Trigger is probably
JRPGs?
like the best. I played the shit out of Chrono Trigger. Emulated, but yes. I've completely forgot about that game. That's like the best. Previously I was gonna say, like, if you asked me, Bastion would probably be best overall video game music ever for me.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's hard
Chrono Trigger might be it, man. I don't know.
Yeah. I cannot see. I get the Japanese names mixed up. I need to go search it 1 second.
Karen can probably assist.
No, I don't remember.
Well, no, but if he knows the oh no, he's trying to figure. Okay, I think I understand now.
Yeah, I've got a few composers in my head. I'm pretty sure it's Yasunori Mitsuda. Mitsuda.
I think it's a she. Karen, could you help me out on that one?
I don't remember. Let me check.
You don't know the gender. That's
looks
not
like
worth looking up.
Looks like a dude on the Wikipedia. So
Okay. I did a bunch of stuff for 11, I think.
No, that's a different guy.
Different but same like name. Same Mitsu, or no, Mitsu is a grocery store. What's the name again?
Yasunori Mitsuda.
Mitsuda. I think I remember that being in some of my 11 tracks. I think. I mean, you got Wikipedia up, you probably know better than me.
Taking a look right quick. Although I need to make sure I don't stay here too long.
Yeah, sorry, I'm gonna get you guys killed.
I just got stuff I want to build.
No.
Yeah, that too. No? Alright, must be someone. I must be misremembering then. I'm not that. A lot of the time I know the song, I don't know the artist.
I think you're kind of like confusing it with Mizuta.
Yeah, you know what? I am. You're completely right. It's Mizuta. Mizuta or whatever.
And I could be. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Karen.
Oh no, I was just like going off tangent. I just said that I really like Mizuta's music.
Yeah, unfortunately, I haven't devoted the proper amount of time to Chrono Trigger because I think I've said this before. It's an experience that I don't want to cheapen or like. I want to make sure I'm in.
Fucking get the cart and the original console.
No. I don't.
Shit.
No, I don't mind emulating it.
Okay,
I just
good.
want to make sure that I'm like. Firstly, I actually have it, but it's for PlayStation. So first of all, loading screens, no. But
yeah, that's bad.
Yeah.
Then we got released on PlayStation.
It got released on PlayStation with Final Fantasy IV.
I had no idea.
Together.
Oh,
I
it's
think
like
it's Final Fantasy Chronicles or Anthologies, one or the other.
Oh, it's like okay, I get it. So that was like post Nintendo being a bitch to Square. Or whatever it was. Okay.
Yeah, they re-released I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think all the first 6 for PlayStation at one point, and like upgraded it with graphics and.
That could have been the fucking N64, man. Could have been.
It could have been, but actually, and if you haven't seen this, go check out Ben Heck's teardown of the Nintendo PlayStation, or I guess the Sony.
Yeah,
it's the prototype.
I remember reading about that. Wasn't there? I don't know, that tangent. Don't worry about it. I just remember seeing one in the news recently. Like someone found someone, or someone found one or something at like a garage sale. I can't remember.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what went down. And Ben Heck, being the baller that he is one of the few people who was trusted to try to get it working properly. So they brought it into him, and he basically took it apart, repaired it, and got everything mechanically working, it seems. But I don't want to spoil too much. But it's definitely a cool thing to check out. But going back to the music, about like Mitsuda's music and things like that, like it's expressive, and I feel like there's actually a song in particular I want to bring an example to, because it cracks me up every time, and I always draw the connection. But the music from The Trial, that very I can't really do it justice.
You just reminded me of the Phoenix Wright soundtrack, which is another example of superb music in a video game.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
When you said Trial, I actually can't remember the music from The Trial in Chrono Trigger though. Even you humming it, that didn't give me any pleasure. I'll have to go back and listen to it.
If it helps, another progressive rock example. Listen to the exact same name, "The Trial" by Pink Floyd. They've got a couple eerie similarities, and I kind of, if I ever cover The Trial, I want to throw in some Pink Floyd on top of it. It's but you see those kind of references, especially on like Nobuo Uematsu also in his early days did like a Johnny B. Good friggin' cover in 8-bit for Final Fantasy III. But then they go on to create, like I can't not bring up Nobuo Uematsu without bringing Answers, just because it's my favorite song. But it's not actually for good background music, right? Like you couldn't put Answers as beautiful as it is over top of actual gameplay.
You totally can, but not in that game. Do you know Mountain Blade Warband?
I know of it. I have not played it yet.
Have you seen the gameplay though? It's like
let me take a look real quick.
You can kind of, it's like medieval combat. Nothing is more fun than like storming a castle and like charging up the wall with like 100 of your dudes and firing arrows into other guys' faces and like backing up, dodging longsword attacks and all kinds of. It's like kind of like Chivalry, but single player and kind of bad, if I'm being honest.
Okay, so from what I look at, yeah. But I'm guessing you'll play Answers over top of playing that.
Answers is so fucking good as like a medieval combat tune. It's perfect in every way. It's hilarious. Like I have friends that don't really play 14 that will like they like that song and would play it to games like that. Like you could do Total War a little bit. That's not as good though, because Answers is like an epic song, right? Yeah. So I think you got to do it. Oh shit, I'm fucked. Or I'm not fucked, but I'm in trouble. You gotta do it in a game that's like got that kind of epic feel to it. And I think Mountain Blade Warband is like pretty much the prototypical game for that. Anyway, that's just my example of listening to Answers in the context of gameplay. What is going on here? Why can I not get up? Sorry, fighting with my horse. Alright, I can't get up that hill for some reason. But yeah.
1 second. I gotta sneak for a second, so I'm gonna be quiet.
Oh, that's cool. So there's... I'll try and... I don't know, man. I'll try and compile some links for the description of this video about some of the music we're talking about. That's going to be a little tough, though. I'm going to spend like an hour listening through this and then getting sidetracked and pulling up 20 other songs that are awesome. So try to limit the number of songs you guys mention from now on, okay? Make my life easier. Obviously, I'm joking, but I'll see what I can do about that. No promises just yet.
It's definitely difficult, because there's so much great music out there, especially in video games. Not to bring up like just so many different amazing examples, but I feel like of course, going back to my ideal game, yes, you would definitely need a standout, amazing soundtrack.
Yep, for sure. Oh man, I'm gonna have to. There's a lot of stuff I have to go back and listen to now. It's
Um,
audio too, not just music. Like I'm going back. I'm thinking like. So I do this periodically. I just, for no particular reason, I'll go back and listen to, or not listen to, but go on YouTube and pull up MechWarrior 2 intro. If you've ever seen or heard that, if you ever play MechWarrior.
I had a friend who was super into it, but I've never actually heard the music from it that I can remember.
It's
Oh,
not so
it's
much the music, it's more the overall audio and also the intro itself. I don't know, this made me think of it. Because it's one of those things where it's like, it's an old thing that I'll go back and listen to. But as far as straight up music goes, I would say Frog's theme is got to be pretty much number one in a lot of different, like, there is no number one, right? I'm kind of bullshitting here because there's so many freaking amazing songs. And at any given moment, I might like one more than the other, but Frog's theme is just unreal.
I feel like that one probably does encompass like not only Frog as a character, from what I know, but also like the game itself. Right? It's something that you could almost imagine the minstrels of the world playing.
Absolutely.
So it keeps you immersed. It's a really cool song. I absolutely dig. Unlike friggin' Robo's song, which is, you know, as we all know, is pretty much Rick Astley, Never Gonna Give You Up.
Yeah, but I love that. And that, by the way, that mashup is amazing. I'm gonna go listen to that after this. Like, I don't particularly like "Never Gonna Give You Up," but it mashed up with that song is fucking great. In a horrible, horrible way, but it's great. All right, we're back in town here. Let me park my horse.
I've done a lot of talking, so I haven't made too much progress. But I think I'm about to start.
Who gives a shit? Honestly, like just have fun. That's all that matters.
I was about to start on the alchemy lab, but it was dark, so
there's
I don't have to deal with
baby zombie here
shooting at me.
Yeah, I'll be building probably, I guess, for the rest of this one.
Karen, where would you prefer the entrance to the basement being?
There you go.
Oh, sorry. Oh, there's some creeper again.
Oh, she cut off. I guess she got exploded.
Creeper.
No, he just wants to buy a cake is all.
No.
Let him detonate the bakery. No problem.
No.
But yeah, I like Robo's theme. I thought you were gonna shit on what's her face? What's her name? The cave woman?
Yeah,
from prehistoric. Her theme is shit. I don't like her theme.
I cannot remember her name, but
it starts with an S, doesn't it?
Oh crap. Well, I'll have to hold on a second. I've got some dirt to fix now because that creeper was touchy.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's all good. So okay, I wanted to mention this because I keep bringing up like the real world components to video game music, which is kind of a bad example, but a good juxtaposition to check out and an interesting game if you're into RTSs and like heavy metal. Brutal Legend has a soundtrack that is mostly composed up of modern pop, like glam metal. Thank you, Karen. Glam metal and like, you know, classic metal and then like death metal and things like that, right? But the music itself during fights, like if you don't have music off when you're just running around exploring, it's got this super ambient feel to it. And I'm going to segue from that to things like Skyrim, because like when you think of video game music, do you prefer something that is that has a good beat and a good melody and is iconic, say like, you know, the Mega Man X theme or something like that, or do you want something that is ambient and like brings you into the world even while you're listening to it, like the theme from Whiterun, you know?
Totally not. It's not a question you can ask because it completely depends on the game.
Because for something like, you know, like let's say for Ace Attorney, where the music is just kind of like sort of upbeat, like it makes sense for that game because it kind of adds to like feeling or of the situation. Like with the trial music, right? It has to be upbeat because you're kind of like, being rushed to make a decision of some sort.
Yep.
Right.
Whereas for games like maybe Skyrim, I have never played Skyrim, but like I
We'll
can kind of
we'll
relate.
rectify that later. Don't worry.
I'm not really into it.
Yeah,
But
no, doesn't matter.
I don't force you to play Final Fantasy, dude.
I'm
But
I'm not you.
well, I mean, I'm just saying. But
Anyway,
anyways,
sorry
like
for that.
like for something that I can relate to, which is Souls, like for Demon Souls. And this is kind of like me, like saying I prefer the music in Demon Souls versus Dark Souls. It's just because like the music is a lot more ambient in Demon Souls versus Dark Souls.
I don't even
gotcha.
remember the music in Dark Souls. I don't even remember that it had music. Mostly just remembered getting my ass kicked.
Now, okay, so a good way we can kind of narrow this down, and I'll for one say, like, if I were to say, if for your ideal game, what would you prefer? Like, because of the like, I'll have to go back and watch the videos because I haven't. But if you have a game
Karen,
that's kind of
basically to explain it, I don't have an answer, and it varies dramatically. It could be anything depending on my life situation. Like it could be Eve if I had infinite free time. It could be not Eve. It could just be something to LP. Could be Isaac. It really depends. For Karen though, it's basically JRPG weeaboo stuff. To oversimplify it and then also heap on insults on top of that.
okay, so I think I've been overblowing the situation a bit. So I'm sitting here trying to come up with a potential like ideal game rather than just to pick one that's already been made.
I
Well,
like
no, it
how
could be
JP
both.
or just pick on me. Well, I mean,
Well,
it
that's
just depends on like the mood, like JP said.
yeah. It
I
like
I like. Huh?
sorry. No, I was just gonna
Sorry.
say like in Eve or something, I'd want background, and then if you go combat, you want it to step up a little. But a different kind of game would be totally different, right? I don't know what ideal is because I don't think it basically I don't think it exists. That's kind of the core of it. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to really narrow down for sure. But I think another good way to explore the idea is to compare a couple games that maybe have gone from a much more melody heavy tone to something a bit ambient. Like if you were to compare, um, think like dungeon music from Legend of Zelda from the newer games versus the much more kind of sinister things from the first and third game. We'll disregard the second one because it's kind of an outlier.
Was it just what was the third one?
Link to the Past for Super Nintendo.
Shit. I kind of vaguely remember Link to the Past music, but mostly only remixed. I don't know, I view them as sort of similar, honestly. If anything, a product of their time more than anything else, as far as Link to the Past being different from, like, say, Wind Waker.
Right, yeah.
I don't really know, man. That's a tough one.
Okay, so let's go on a totally different scale, but the same composer. Compare something like Super Mario World to Super Mario Galaxy, right? Like that, they're totally different games. So obviously, you'd have to, this is where kind of the whole comparison comes down to. When they brought in a real symphony for Galaxy, I feel like that brought up a whole new bunch of challenges for the designers to kind of plan around that because symphony, a live symphony is probably pretty difficult, I would imagine, to try to compose for it and still be engaging to a video game compared to, the classic, Super Mario World and Super Mario Brothers themes. But
Yeah, probably.
when if you play and love Galaxy and you hear the songs again, excuse me, it definitely, I feel, is kind of even more impressive. So ultimately it depends on Oh yeah, let me go check that. But it ultimately depends on the scope of the game, I think. And if you're going to build something that's kind of confined and singular, a good simple soundtrack is good. But if you want to build something that evokes, pulling someone into the game, something composed and ambient. A great example of an ambient soundtrack that still has a pretty a good balance is thank you is the Metroid Super Metroid soundtrack, which is amazing.
Mostly know that through remixes as well.
Right.
But also, yeah,
Definitely, if definitely check it out if you're kind of into that. It's something a bit creepier, kind of darker.
does Fusion count? I don't even remember.
Fusion,
I need to go back and play Fusion. I don't remember any of this stuff anymore. I'm getting old. Memory only lasts like 6 months.
um, it definitely. I feel like I couldn't tell you. I remember much of Fusion's music, but I feel like it still had that kind of. I never didn't feel kind of creeped out. Even in Fusion, which I'll kind of not so much crap on, but I'll compare because Fusion it doesn't. Again, it's not as nearly as just blatantly open ended as some other entries, but the music itself still keeps you kind of creeped out that you're on this half working ship that's potentially getting worse by the second. So I feel like in games like that where you don't really remember the music as much, like in Dark Souls, like you were saying, but is the music what you really want to be thinking about when you're sucked into the world? So it's kind of a moot point. I don't know how you feel about the situation, but
It depends. If that music is amplifying the feeling that you're going for, then yes, you do want to be aware of it. If it's not, then no.
I lost you, buddy.
Yeah, did you guys cut off?
Am I back? I can hear you guys fine.
Yeah,
Yep,
you're
I
back
gotcha.
now.
Okay. Basically, all I said was like it depends. If the whole point of the game. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Let me take a step back. If what I'm looking for out of the music is to make me feel a certain way, like emphasize the feeling, then I do want to notice it. Because if I don't notice it, it's not going to do shit, right? It's just going to be kind of static.
Mm-hmm.
So, but otherwise, yeah, just don't notice it. So, like, Dark Souls did nothing. Like, I don't know anything about the music from that game because it wasn't really the focus at all, and it wasn't there. Whereas something like, again, Fusion, I'm fucking scared. It set the tone. It set like the feeling, and then everything else fed into that basically. So when the music got kind of tense, I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna see through the visor of SAX and see, oh shit, it's me, but it's like a, at whatever the hell they were called, I can't remember, evil parasite thing. By the way, I'm in bed. Kind of set the tone for me.
Yeah, for sure. And that's I think I'm gonna go back and play some of that tonight, to be honest.
I want to, but I gotta go to bed for work.
That's unfortunate, but definitely that might be worth playing, honestly. I know it's kind of out there as far as demographics, but it seems like it could be a fun one.
Which, Fusion?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's out there at all. I think, well, I mean, I have an extremely high opinion of Fusion. We've spoken about this before, but I don't know. I don't think it's out there. I think it's pretty much a must play. If you like the Metroid series, that's a must play. But again, this is coming from someone who never played Super Metroid. I played all 3 Primes, basically, only the first of which I thought was really good. And then Fusion, and I think maybe one other. I can't remember. But yeah, that's it. So, I don't know.
I feel like we're in the same boat because I haven't played Super Metroid, at least not to the degree that I feel like I should. I've gotten a fair ways into it, but I've got a couple people who I know would probably kill me if they didn't know, or if they knew I didn't actually complete it. So, with that said, I feel like maybe one of these times Oh, that would be interesting. Like you and I should have a race. We'll play the game. I know it's kind of intense,
It'll take hours because
but
I've literally never touched it.
and
Or are you
I
talking
could
Fusion?
no Super Metroid, so you can play it because I know that there's a bunch of people who, are, if they were to hear that, would be like, "You've never played Super Metroid? That's the best game." It's the, you know,
Yeah, I know. Believe
it's
me, I'm well aware.
so or at least to play it for a little bit. Maybe not a race, but just to check it out. I think it would be interesting to do simultaneously because I haven't played it since pretty much since I was a kid.
Yeah, maybe. Sounds like an opportunity. But I think, unfortunately, as much as I want to continue this conversation, basically just keep talking, we're going to have end the episode here. We're up to 36 minutes, so these are going long,
Lord.
but I kind of don't feel bad about it because I feel like this is the most fun. I really enjoy doing these.
Conversation.
So, yeah. Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. Sorry to end it here. I know it's... I watch podcasts that I enjoy, and I hope you guys enjoy this one too, but if you do, I know probably how you feel, which is like, no, don't fucking end, keep talking, I want to hear more. But there are a limited number of minutes in the day, so sorry guys. Anyway, I will hopefully see you in the next one though, because we will have more of these going up pretty regularly here. I think we're at 4 a week, so thanks for joining us, take care.
Bye.